Yeah, I want the pepperoni pizza. No, I don't. No, not the mushroom one. No, I don't want the mushroom pizza. I want the pepperoni pizza and the medium fries. No, I didn't order a Coke. I'm sorry. I don't I don't have time to do this right now. I'm really busy. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to go because we are live on the business of creativity. Hi everyone. We are live. This is crazy. So thank you for joining us. Let me just pull up the old intro script here. So we are live on LinkedIn and YouTube, and also I think maybe Facebook. To everybody joining us in the UK, I would like to say good morning, and to everyone in Japan, I say Nihon no minasama konbanwa. Hi, Mum. Thank you for agreeing to plant some questions in the chat section for us. Come and join us as we chew the fat on what has inspired our creativity this month. So join us in the chat section. Tell us something creative that has blown your mind. Maybe it was a project for work, or maybe it was outside the world of work. I went to the cinema this month to watch June, and I also bought Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. So I'm getting my fill of creative inspiration this month. Joining me today are my guests from previous episodes of the Business of Creativity podcast. They're from the USA, the UK, and Japan, and cover a variety of professional backgrounds from photography and marketing to translation and video production. You can catch all our episodes on our YouTube channel. Just search Lisa Kikuchi and you'll find us there. So, I believe that being creativity is good for the soul food. Creativity brings people together. We tell stories, we sing songs, we share ideas and experiences, and we push ourselves to experiment with something new. Creativity makes us vulnerable. We take risks, we put ourselves out there, but when we do it, we feel like we're living life. At work, when we're creative, we are innovative. But it's not easy. Creativity at work comes with limitations and deadlines. We have to nurture a supportive environment where criticism is offered constructively and where feedback is received readily. Then we can bring our creative ideas and innovations to life. Your creative friends are there to spur you on, and today we're here to spur you on. On this live stream, it doesn't matter if you don't have a professional creative skill. Today isn't about the latest creative trends, and it isn't about showcasing creative skills that we have mastered. It's about coming together to share what's in our imaginations and building an experience together through that. So let's crack on and let me introduce you to the group. Okay, here we go. If everybody's there, I hope. Hi, everyone. There's
Hello.
We've lost Richard at some point. Hi. I'm so glad you were there when I clicked the button. How are you all doing this morning or this evening, I suppose, if you're in Japan? How are you all doing?
Great.
Yeah, that's great. I'm sure we'll get Richard back online at some point, back live from Tokyo. So we've got a bit of a warm-up exercise to get us started today. And I gave you the question shortly beforehand, so you've had a little bit of a think about it. But before we launch into that, we'll just go around the room a little bit and just give a quick intro just to let people know who you are if they haven't seen the previous episode. So as I see it on my screen, let's start with John. Hi, John from the UK. Oh, Alexa, stop talking.
Seriously?
And it would help if I'm unmuted.
And unmute is perfect. If you can unmute yourself, that's even better.
Morning, everyone. It's great to be here and amongst such fine company. You should check out their episodes. Very much enjoyed them. Yeah, my name's John. I'm from the UK. I am a content marketer. So essentially, I write words that make really smart people sound even more smart. That's what I do by day. By night, when I can sleep, because I do have a young one, I blog, and I'm a book blogger, as showcased by my bookcase behind me. And I write just pretty much about self-published books, independent bookstores, mass market paperbacks, pretty much anything that just sort of takes my fancy.
That's great, and we'll mention your website later because it's a real passion project for you. So it would be great to introduce people to that. Thank you, John. That's lovely. Okay, we'll move around. So we're going to go to Anthony.
All right. Well, my name is Anthony Griffin, and thank you, Lucy, for having me. And it's great to see everyone here. And yes, basically, I am also a marketer, and I help Japanese companies market and communicate abroad. So if they are interested in localizing their products or services, or basically just marketing what they do to other countries, that's what I focus on. That's what I do here in Tokyo. So I'm looking forward to this, and sharing more and hearing more tonight.
Thank you. That's great. Okay, we're going to move down and say hi to Die. Hi, Die.
Hi, Lucy. Hi, everyone. Great to see familiar faces here as well.
Yeah.
Great. Yes. My name is Rie. I am a Japanese and English interpreter and also a translator. At the moment, I am working on ATP finals. So by night, I'm a translator. So, but during the day, I'm trying to write a book, which I promised to a publisher. So it's already decided. So basically, my editor is twiddling her thumbs and waiting for me. So basically, give it to her, the draft, to work on. And then I also teach to Japanese nationals or Japanese mother tongue to reduce their accents when they find themselves to be understood in English. So that's sort of, that's pretty much it. I'm residing in the UK, as it says, and I'm based in a very much of a countryside. I'm happy to show you some of the photos which I've taken recently.
Oh, thank you, Dia. Well, and I'm sure we'll touch on a lot of those points, and I want to hear more about this book. So we'll come back and talk a bit more about that later. That's great. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move around now to Paul. Hi, Paul. Good morning.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sort of retired photographer now. Failed rock star, as you can see from behind. So I've been in photography for over 30 years. So I'm sort of pretty much retired now, so I can pick and choose my jobs. And I've got
living the dream.
Personal projects now. It's an age thing, Lucy. You'll get there.
Okay, I know. I feel like I'm creeping there.
Yeah. So, I've just started a little personal project in the village where I live now. So which I'll tell you about later if you want. So
yes, please do. Thank you. Okay, and last but not least, Richard has managed to get back online. Thank goodness.
Yes, my apologies for that. I've never in my history of going online and participating in meetings had my Mac crash on me, and of course,
today.
with 1 minute to spare before the start time, it something happened, and I wasn't able to log on. So my apologies for
no worries
for raising your blood pressure.
It's up here.
My name is Richard. I'm originally from the United States, but I've lived more than half my life, a little over 30 years, in Tokyo, Japan. Until a few years ago, I was working in corporate communications, so public relations, so working with the media for a large Japanese multinational. In the last few years, I've been focusing more on translation work from Japanese to English and writing. And also lately, I've also been creating some educational animation works as well. So some of the things I've shared on LinkedIn. So
it's very good.
You may have seen that.
We're going to have a look at it. That's great. Yes, thank you. Yeah, we'll share. I've got your pictures and your video, so we'll have a look at these things later on. They're really great. So I would also like to say hello, good morning, konbanwa, to the people in the comment section. I know we've got Rhiannon. Thank you, Rhiannon, for coming here. She's a French translator. She's absolutely great. You can find her on LinkedIn. I think we started doing some video stuff around about the same time in our LinkedIn lives, and we sort of just, I think we kind of push each other, encourage each other. So that's great. Hi, nice to see you, Rhiannon. And we've also got guests from Japan. Manabe-san, konbanwa, nice to see you. So let us know if you've got any questions, and tell us what has inspired you, what has inspired your creative streak this month. We've got a LinkedIn user from Germany. Guten Morgen. Yes, it's still morning in Germany. So yeah, I've got a bit of the old German there, and that's about it. So the first thing that we're going to launch into is our quiz, our mind-bending quiz, because we've sort of introduced ourselves in the traditional way, but I think it would be really nice for people to kind of get a sense of the way your mind ticks and how you see the world. So I gave you a question just before the show about an alien that came to Earth. And when he went back, he declared to his friends, he made some statements about what he saw, what he heard, and what he felt against his skin. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds here to prepare your answer, and for the people watching also to prepare their answers and start typing in your answers in the chat section. And then we'll come back and look at what you've all got. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Take a creative moment, and we'll come back very soon, if I can find the right music. Okay, that's it. That's all the time that you're getting. So let's take a look at this question together. This is kind of inspired by kind of lockdown, and a bit of a kind of a weird thought really that was kind of running through my head. So during lockdown, there was a part when we were only allowed to go out once a day. And so I live near a canal, and I would just take a walk around the canal. Very peaceful, there's swans, there's there's geese, there's willow trees, and as I walked around this canal during lockdown, I think because of the nature of the pandemic and the problems, I kind of had this kind of, we were all thinking a bit about the apocalypse, and these kind of things, and the future of like humans. I was thinking about it, and I think I thought, and Elon Musk, okay, so he's interested in sending us all to Mars, colonizing Mars, and it kind of like I had this feeling that we will never have this kind of freedom that we have on Earth. Like when we step outside our house and we walk around these beautiful places, and we've got the summer breeze on our skin, we've got the grass underneath our feet, and if we ever go to like Mars and colonize it, we won't have these things. It'll be a rock. And we won't be able to go outside and walk around the local canal because there will be no water, and we won't be able to feel the summer breeze on our skin. So just a regular thing you think about in between the shopping at Morrison's supermarket and all those kind of things. So that was the inspiration for this quiz. So let's have a think. I think we may have... I done karaoke. Karaoke, yes, karaoke, yes. So maybe the most beautiful thing you heard was karaoke, right? Yeah. Right.
It certainly wasn't me.
I love that answer. Yeah, thank you. If you go to Mars, we don't know if we can still do karaoke. Thank you for that. That's brilliant. them. If you want to give your favorite, that's also fine. Richard, what do you think? This alien, what has he said to people about this?
It's a good question. These are rather cliche answers, I think. But for the first one, the most beautiful thing. Lately in Tokyo, we've been having some really gorgeous sunsets. It's there's kind of reddish in the sky, and out of my veranda, I have a view of Mount Fuji, and right on the left hand, it's quite small because I'm viewing it from Tokyo, but on the left hand side, there's a very large apartment building that kind of destroys the whole effect. But there are, when I'm awake early enough to see a sunrise or a sunset, I'm really quite impressed.
Yeah.
With those, when you get a really gorgeous one, I mean, they're not all great, but when you get a nice one, it's kind of awe-inspiring and kind of takes your breath away. Yes. Should I answer all three or?
Well, we can come back. We'll come back to you. Let's see. Let's check in. Let's check in. Or chicken with Ria.
Chicken, yes. Chicken. I actually saw chicken hens this morning, and it's funny.
A nice chicken is a beautiful thing to behold.
Exactly,
too.
Very much.
It is
very much. Yes, we get a really warm eggs from the neighbors, and if we go to Mars, probably we don't have those.
No, there will be no eggs on Mars. So
we'll probably see Martians, popping their heads when they hear music. Do you remember that film? That sort of thing. Anyway. Yes, it's really funny, Lucy, you mentioning that, and also that about the sunset. I was just thinking about sunrise. That's my favorite thing. I really, really appreciate, and the most beautiful moments. It's really hard to come up with one, and I must say there was one time I was up in the mountain, Mount Fuji, from the above clouds.
Okay.
I saw the entire, daybreak, and then all the things that I might have, you might have, like earthly, problems and all that. Started, seem so minuscule that it doesn't really matter, whatever, because above, from above, you can't see any of it. You couldn't really feel any of it, and then every time I am too either claustrophobic or I don't know, like too narrow-minded or whatever, I try to bring myself back to that moment. That was
one of those moments where you sort of feel very small in the world.
I think so.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Sometimes it can be overwhelming, but in this case it was really positive. It's so nice to feel, I don't really matter. Nothing really matters.
Yeah, you need those moments, don't you? Yeah, that's true. So. Thank you.
You realize you're pretty insignificant in the overall scheme of things, right?
Exactly.
I mean, you might feel that in the office during the week, but when you're on the top of Mount Fuji, it's a nice feeling.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Anthony, how about you?
Sure. I should warn people my answers to these three questions are going to be all over the place. So I hope that is a testament to my creativity or my craziness. I don't know.
Both are very good. Both very good. All welcome.
Great. So I'll start with the first one like everyone else. And I think the most beautiful thing would be seeing, strangers or people who don't know each other, the moments that they help each other out or support each other. And the reason I say this is just there's so much negativity in the news and in the world. And, I always think back to, my individual encounters with people here in Japan and in the United States. So whenever we're getting bombarded by all this negativity, I think of all of the positive moments I've had on the individual levels with people I don't even know. And I get out and travel and cycle and jog, and I have a lot of those encounters, and I think those are very beautiful. So that's my first answer.
Yeah, it's very reassuring, isn't it, when you see that sort of strangers kind of helping each other out? Absolutely, yeah. So
Yeah.
I can totally appreciate that. Okay, well, we'll nip over next door to John and see what he's got to offer us here.
Well, I feel quite small after such great answers of cosmic proportions of sunrise and sunset, and realizing our place in the universe is so small.
Are you answering with pizza?
I tell you what, I wasn't going to say pizza, but that is also an excellent shout. I was merely going to say the city of Edinburgh.
Oh my goodness. Beautiful.
My favourite place in the whole wide world.
Oh, wow.
I love it so much. It's just beautiful Georgian architecture, Gothic spires.
Yeah.
For a capital city, it's such a quiet place.
Yeah.
Apart from in Fringe, but I've never been in Fringe, so it's fine. I go during the quiet parts of the years.
The
year, but it's somewhere where like I feel like I've been to a couple of times, and I've kind of just sat like on top of Calton Hill. This is a beautiful hill that looks over the city.
Yeah,
and it's just complete tranquility. I feel like it's probably one of those places. Everyone has one of those places where you're just at complete peace with the world.
Yeah, it is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, that is for me.
Yeah, totally agree. Everywhere you turn, it seems to be a postcard shot. That's how I feel when I go there. It's like you just move, and it's like, oh, that's a perfect setting with a beautiful old, building or castle, whatever it is. It's a stunning city. Yeah, I love it as well.
There's something just very ethereal about it, and I can't quite place what it is, but it's very, very special to me.
Yeah, I recommend everybody should go there, especially for the Fringe Festival. It's so much fun. Yeah, thank you. We've got a chicken in the comment section. Thank you, Michael Williamson, for the chicken emoji.
Nice.
So I think we've sort of realised we're going to miss some chickens when we go to Mars.
Nice.
So yeah. So finally, Paul, any answers from you? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to go with the cliched sunrise and sunset, and the reason that is being a photographer, light is everything, and we have a time, an hour after sunrise, an hour before sunset. We call the golden hour.
Okay.
The light is orange because it goes through more atmosphere. So and if you look at anything at sunset or sunrise, it appears. So photographers call that the golden hour. And
wow.
I used to say to my students, and I'm a complete atheist of all religions, but I always used to say to my students, that's how you can tell God was a photographer. Because if he was a carpet fitter, he wouldn't have been able to invent light like that.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's really interesting. Yeah, certain times of the day.
I'm going to go with these two and go with the sunrise and sunset. So.
It's a popular choice. It is a popular choice. Oh, lovely. Thank you.
So thank you, Lucy, for asking me first. So I was the first one to voice that one. But one of the most as far as photography goes, I mean, with me anyway, I'm never able to capture the beauty of sunsets in any kind of picture I take. It probably takes a professional to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The problem is most cameras phones. Sorry, most people take pictures on their phones, and it doesn't have the tonal range, so you don't get the full spectrum of colours. And also, things that you'll get a hot spot where the sun is, it'll bleed out, and it'll just be a white ball. So yeah, it's mostly down to people taking pictures on phones. That
yeah. Okay.
You've got to get your exposure right, otherwise it'll bleed out.
Yeah, that's the key, I think.
Yeah, not just snap on your mobile phone.
It's not the same.
You know what they say? The best camera in the world is the one you've got in your hand.
Right.
True.
Oh, not what? Sorry, I didn't get that one.
The best camera in the
available
world
for you at that moment.
The one you've got in your hand.
Oh,
because,
I see. Sorry.
That's the only thing you've got. So.
Okay.
That's true.
Best camera in the world. So
keep
snapping.
Yes. Indeed.
That's
Thank
very
you.
true.
Okay, right. We are moving on now. So we're moving on to our main question, which was what has inspired your creativity this month? So it could be something from the world of work. It could be something from your free time. So I have a few pictures that you would like to share. So who would like to kickstart this section of the show? What has it inspired your creativity this month? Richard, let's go with you. What would you like to tell us about?
Well, I'm a fan of Japanese woodblock prints, and I think probably we've all seen some of the famous woodblock prints. There's the views of Mount Fuji. There's the very famous one with a wave that has kind of finger-like wave. Yeah. Well, this is a woodblock artist that I was not familiar with until recently, and his name is Kawase Hasui. And he was active, I think, from the late 1800s to the early, maybe 1930s or 40s. And I discovered that they were going to be showing his work at a nearby art museum, and I went to go see him, and I was just really taken with the beauty of what he did. It's got kind of like an illustration quality, and some of them are almost kind of photorealistic. But just really gorgeous. And if you see the actual prints, the colors that he used and the depth were really remarkable. And they were quite unlike any other woodblock prints I had seen before. And this is just a small selection. I think he, during his lifetime, he created over 600 works, I think.
Wow.
It's beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Yeah, I love this one. This is my favorite out of the few that you sent me. I always love it in a picture where you can't quite see the people or their faces. There's like a famous example. Is it the Edward Hopper Nighthawks painting? There are people in a very, very dark street in a diner in a dark street, and they're at the bars, and somebody is serving them, and you can't quite see any faces. And I always kind of love that, it adds to the mystery, doesn't it? So that is lovely. But I've also, apart from these fantastic woodblock prints, we've also got a couple of sneaky things that Richard has done himself, which is very impressive. So here, tell us what we're looking at here, Richard.
This is an oil painting I did ages ago, probably more than 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I wanted to capture, Japanese, something Japanese in nature. Yeah. And as a university student, I studied graphic design, but I also took a painting class, and I also took a color theory class, and I was kind of combining elements. I don't want to go into too many kind of boring details here, but just kind of playing around with color. It's a little bit hard to tell here, but there was one teacher that I had who would use this kind of three-dimensional technique where he would cast a shadow. It's really hard to tell here, but I was trying to make it look as though you were peering through this brush stroke window on something below, and I added a shadow, but it's not really very obvious, and there's a slight shadow being cast over the fish underneath. It's not really obvious here, but just playing around with these concepts that I learned when I was in university.
Thank you for sharing that. That is absolutely beautiful. And people that have these kind of skills, how envious we are, because it's fantastic. Thank you for that, Richard. Thank you for those pictures.
Thank you for showing them.
Yes, you're welcome. Let's move on to John. John, what has inspired your creativity this month?
I'm going to cheat because it's not entirely strictly this month, but it is something that I thought of this month. And it's kind of linked to what I was talking about in my intro. And it's self-publishers, self-published authors. I hadn't read too many self-published works before I'd started blogging. I didn't necessarily have the exposure to them, but I've read and reviewed quite a few over the past, year and a half or so. And I think there's just something so incredible about somebody who can not only just write an entire book, which is already something that's a staggering feat, and I'm massively envious of those people. Looking forward to hearing more about yours, Rie.
Yeah.
But to like finish a book, which is like a labor of love, it's such a hard thing to do, I would imagine, because you're putting your soul out there. You really are just like laying yourself out there to criticism and praise and so on and so forth. But not only do they have to do that, they then market their own books. They need to pay for the printing, make sure the quality is okay.
Yeah.
And of course, as we know, as some of us are marketers, there's a lot of aspects to marketing. So they'll have to solicit people like myself and say, "Hey, do you want to read my book?" They need to take part in things like on Reddit, get their books kind of listed in awards, and so on and so forth. And that's the kind of stuff that a publisher would handle for you.
Yes.
You've written the book, you've signed it off, you've sent it to press, and the publisher will typically do that for you. But when you're doing that all on your own, it's really changed my perspective on it, because it just, from talking to people who've written their own stuff and have sent me, been kind enough to send me copies, it's just amazing the amount of work that goes into it, and creatively, and just volume as well.
Yeah. I mean, yes, the whole sort of writing aspect is, a kind of a massive undertaking in itself. But as you said, and then you've got to sort of market it, and that is a whole different sort of area, and that's also very time consuming. So
you've written it, and then the fun only just begins then. You've got to then go out and find readers for it. So
then, exactly, then the work begins. And it's like you said, you can you put yourself out there, and you make yourself sort of vulnerable and open up to sort of criticism. And sometimes I love Empire magazine. It's a movie magazine, and it often talks you through, like, interviews directors, and you go through the behind the scenes of the technical process of like making these films. And it's huge that it's such a long process. Films can take years to come to fruition. And then, they end up in a review, and the reviewer's like, nah, wasn't very good. And I just feel like, although I agree it's important, to have sort of film reviewers and journalists who kind of critique this stuff, at the same time, to do all of that work over years, and then for someone to be like,
I'm very mindful of that when I'm writing my reviews, because I kind of, some of my book reviews are typically a bit longer perhaps than maybe others are, because I like to sort of get down into the detail and really try and understand what the author's trying to do, whether I like it or not. Even some of my less positive reviews, they're quite thorough. And I think that if someone spent all that time writing it, the least they deserve is somebody to really spend some time consuming it and analyzing it.
And
I like that.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? Yeah.
Here's a really interesting bit of trivia, actually, on self-publishing. I'm sure many of you will be familiar with the film The Martian.
Haven't seen it. Know what you mean? Yeah, haven't seen it, I have to say. Yeah.
Really, really successful film. The book, The Martian by Andy Weir, was actually a self-published work. He published it independently through Amazon, digitally, and then eventually it sort of snowballed. It got a lot of readers, got a lot of positive press, and then eventually got picked up by a publisher, and then got movie rights. And I mean, that is just like, it's such an amazing story.
Wasn't that like
really hitting the goal? I read that book, and it was amazing. It was thrilling. You're sitting on the edge of your seat, waiting to see what happened.
Wasn't it Ridley Scott, the director?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, not just someone's making my film, like Ridley Scott is directing my film. Like,
if you're a sci-fi author, I mean, like, that's just the biggest compliment that can be paid.
How much better does life get? Yeah, absolutely. Oh wow, thank you for sharing that, John. Okay, so we're sort of at 35 minutes. We might take a quick quiz break. And then we'll come back to Paul, Leah, and Anthony on their creative inspiration for this month. Just looking at the comments section again, actually. Rhiannon, my partner, made a film, and it was such a long process. Thankfully, had good reviews though. Oh my God, we've got film royalty on the live stream today. That's very exciting, Rhiannon. Wow, you need to tell us what the film was, and we would love to have a little look at that. So yes, I can imagine you know exactly what John is talking about there. Okay, so we'll take a quick break from this topic and we'll just have a little quiz. So in order to get into sort of the creative mindset, people have certain habits. So, you know, some people, maybe they'll go out and walk their dog and listen to their music. You know, it puts you in a headspace. It makes you feel more creative. Everybody has their kind of thing that kind of brings out their creativity. And so I've got a couple of example. Oh, Ray and Liz. Okay, I'm gonna check that one out. So everybody has a kind of an activity that maybe puts them in the right kind of headspace to be creative. I've got a couple of examples of some famous people, and I want you to sort of try and guess who they are. And this is what they do in order to get into their creative space. I've written it out, and I've just realised that I've put the names in.
It happens.
There we go. I was literally about to put the thing on the screen with the answer. So let me just take these. Oh dear. So here, let me just double check. Here we go. So this is an example of someone and what they do to get in the creative zone, and see if you can guess. It's a very, very famous person. Here we are. Can you see this? Filmmaker XXX said he's practiced transcendental yes, meditation for 20 minutes each day since 1933.
Wow.
This person attributes transcendental meditation to creative breakthroughs in many of his films. So maybe you know about this person. If you need more clues, let me know, and I will feed you some extra clues. So he's a sorry, I've I've given it away a little bit there. He's a filmmaker. He's from the USA, and he practices transcendental meditation as a way to put him in the zone when he's making his films.
I've got two names. I'm not sure. Am I allowed to say?
Yes.
Okay, Steven Spielberg or the George Lucas?
No, it isn't. And I will.
I've got another one. Only due to, since it's back to 1973, it's clearly a director who's been around a while.
Yes. Yeah.
Is his first name Martin?
No.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, let me give you some extra clues. So he's from the USA. He is quite old now. And what else can I tell you without giving too much away? Some of his films, mainstream audiences would find them quite weird, if I'm honest. He's not sort of mainstream. The films that he makes can be, very surreal, very dark. There's some absolute classics that you will know, even if you haven't watched his films, or you'll know some of them.
I think of the last name, but I can't think of the first name.
Okay.
Does the last name begin with the letter L?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yeah. One of his earlier works, one of his earliest films was called Eraserhead.
Yep.
And he's also done Blue Velvet.
Ooh.
Nope. He also. This is getting a bit desperate now.
One more hint.
Okay. I was like, they're good about now. He's also done Twin Peaks.
Don't look at the comments, because.
I was going to say Rhiannon's helping a brother out here.
Yeah.
we've got this, and we've got
David Lynch.
Okay.
I think she's hungry.
Is he American?
Lynch.
That was my guess, but
David. Rhiannon gave us David Lunch. Yes,
Lynch.
it is David Lynch. Oh no, I'm doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's David Lynch. Yes. So in order for him to get into this creative mindset, he practices transcendental meditation. Has anyone else here tried this form of meditation? I mean, I just don't have the discipline to. It really is a discipline, isn't it? I mean, to be able to sit and sort of focus and clear your mind. I think on a day-to-day basis, most people struggle to do that for 5 minutes. So,
if I may say, I've been practicing not transcendental meditation, but I've been meditating for a little over the last 5 years.
Have you?
I think every day. The fact that you say you can't concentrate is all the more reason to do it.
Yes.
The goal is not to reach this level of complete emptying your mind. I mean, that's it's impossible, and even the Dalai Lama cannot do that. But it's basically to practice. It's through practice that you get better at it. So you can start with 1 minute, you can start with 30 seconds, and do it every day, and then work your way up to 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So you don't need to set yourself this goal of 30 minutes or an hour every day. Just focus on your breath. What you're feeling in your body. It can be the simplest of processes, but I would encourage everyone to try it.
Okay. Yes, I can totally appreciate. Yeah. Sorry, Anthony, you go. Yeah.
Could we say that's similar to mindfulness then in that case?
Essentially, yeah. I mean, they're all intertwined, I think, or interlaced or interconnected.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a big yoga fan.
You are a big yoga fan.
My wife.
Oh, your wife. Yeah.
Big yoga fan, yeah, and
it makes sense.
Especially the last bit, the calm down bit at the end.
Yeah. Totally makes sense. Absolutely.
It does.
Okay, thanks. Well, we got there in the end. It's probably because sometimes when you like someone and it's very sort of mainstream in your head, but
it's dinner time though. It's not lunchtime here in Tokyo. It's dinner time.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we've got one more, but if we have time, we'll come back to that. So let's go back to our main question, which is what has inspired your creativity this month. Let's see, Anthony, what is it for you?
Sure. And this is actually related, so it's a nice segue. But I would say maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I realized how important it was to break the routine, especially if you're working in an office, and travel and get out somewhere into a new environment and separate yourself from the routine. And unfortunately, during the pandemic, we couldn't really do that. However, here in Tokyo, there were certain times where we could at least go on long distance bike rides and things like that. So that's exactly what I did. Is I got out on my bike, and last year I made it to the base of Mount Fuji during the fall season, and I really felt like I was taking a vacation even though I couldn't. And what that did is it motivated me to start my own writing. And this is the writing that I do that's not for my clients, but just about my life or my travels. And eventually sometimes those works inspire client work or become client work. And so here we are in November, and things are opening up. So I went back out to kind of the lakes around Mount Fuji and cycled around them, and was once again just inspired by the beauty and kind of how Rie mentioned, you get out there and you just feel insignificant. And you don't worry about your daily life, and it inspires you to do new things when you come back. So I went out there in November. I cycled around 4 of the 5 lakes, which are pretty close together, and took some pictures and came back and started writing again.
Oh yes, I've got a few of those. Let me just see if I can bring these up here. Where have I got them? So we've got Fuji 5 lakes. Yeah, I mean, look at those colours.
Wow.
Look at those colours.
Wow.
It's beautiful, isn't it? The blue, green, red, so nice. But yeah, you need time like this, don't you? You need time out.
Oh yeah.
These would make gorgeous woodblock prints, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I need to work on that. I got a lot to learn.
It's amazing, isn't it? But this is the thing. This is where sort of creativity comes from, isn't it? Where you take yourself off to these places and it just gives you maybe a new feeling. It refreshes you. And it, like you said, when you go back to the office, it can sort of inspire things that you're doing at work.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous photos. So thank you for sending those to me. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's a good approach to kind of recharging your batteries, right?
Absolutely.
It really works. It works wonders. So, for anyone listening, if you are struggling with creativity or stress, just get out into nature or a new environment, and it usually does the trick.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, we've all got to try and avoid like burnout because you get pulled down by the daily grind, don't you? And you just kind of, a lot of the time you're sort of on autopilot. So, it's like these people, you take yourself out and you give yourself a different space and it helps. That's fantastic. Okay, how about moving on to Leo? What's inspired your creativity this month?
Well, this month. Well, can I talk about today? Just before this live. Well, actually, I took a 10 minutes walk, but even like 10 minutes in the countryside, breathing the crisp air in the morning. And then the idea was really to empty my mind. And then the weather is good today. It was rotten yesterday. Well, I shouldn't have said rotten, but it was different. Very windy, wet yesterday, but today is very dry, which is very precious living in the UK. So I made a promise yesterday, actually, that when it is sunny or you see sun somewhere or sometimes, then I just go out. That was the automatic response. That's the promise I made myself yesterday.
Yeah.
So yeah, even I could be so busy, I could be in thoughts or whatever, but because this has to be the habit, like, okay, the sun's out, I'm out. So
it does get like that in this country, doesn't it? When the sun's out, you gotta make the most of it, because it's not gonna last.
Exactly. Before you know it, it can be really cloudy, or you can get a lot busier. So then you would think that I should have gone only for 5 minutes or something. That would have made a world of difference, but I didn't. I didn't want to feel that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
I do find that just getting a walk, doesn't matter whether it's 5 minutes, 50 minutes, whether it's to Mount Fuji, which, by the way, stunning pictures, Anthony, or whether it's just down to the ponds at my local. There's just something about getting out there and just kind of the fresh air that, for me, like as a copywriter, I can't be glued to my desk. I've got to get up and I've got to go walking if I'm in a rut. And I think you
definitely
bang on, both of you there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Definitely.
Cool. And we've got Paul to tell us your creative inspiration for this month.
Well, I found a book in a local shop, and it's full of old historical photographs of my village. So what I'm going to do is go and stand in exactly the same place at where if it's sunny, try and get exactly the same time of day with the shadow, and then try and get the same focal length lens and take exactly the same picture. Some of these pictures date back over 100 years. They're early 20th century, and some of them I think are even late 19th century.
Wow.
I'm going to try and recreate these, or retake these photographs and an ancient and modern exhibition. And I'm going to, if I do the prints, I'll either have one half of it as the old photograph, bleeding into as it is now, or I might make a video for YouTube and have one fading into the other.
Yes, that sounds good. Yeah,
that'll be cool.
That'll be my little project for probably for the spring when it gets a bit warm.
Yeah, I guess, yes, you want the nice weather for it as well, don't you?
At the moment, so
you're expecting what?
A cold snap.
Yes, yeah.
So,
yes, exactly.
Probably be a long-term project, 6 months maybe, maybe a bit longer.
So you'll go out there with your camera, and for this like merging, you know, from the old into the new, what tool are you using to?
So I'll use. I mean, if I do it as stills, I'll use Photoshop.
Yeah.
So I'll lay one picture over the other and make sure it lines up perfectly. Half of one. So as you go from the left-hand side, which will be the old side, we read left to right. So the old into the new.
Yes.
If it's video, I'll probably do it in After Effects or Premiere. Just fade. So show the old picture and then fade into the picture.
Yeah. So, that sounds nice.
Do you know how many images you'll be taking in all?
I haven't counted them. There's probably, how many pages is there? Let me look. There's 36 pages and there's roughly 2 on a page. So there'll be 72 pictures. I mean, some of the views.
You'd like to take all of them?
Yeah, if I can. Some of the views don't exist anymore, and there's a couple of them where they don't know where they were taken. There's one of a pig farm, if a random picture, because these are all old postcards. So I don't know a postcard of a pig farm.
So how can we?
So there'll probably be 60, maybe. Something like that.
That would be a lot of work to get each pig in the right position and try to get them all to cooperate.
Never work with pigs and children. That's what they say.
And obviously, these are all old. These are black and white as well.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm going to obviously take them in colour, but I work with doing black and white to black and white rather than maybe to colour, maybe a bit jarring on the eye. So
but it's
that's something I've got to think about in post. So
it's nice to have a creative project, isn't it? And I think we were talking about this, Richard, the other day, how it's really nice to have a creative project sort of outside of work that you can make your own, and
no pressure.
There's sort of no deadlines, there's no sort of limitations, or you've got to get approval.
It's very liberating. I made some videos just because I wanted to on LinkedIn that kind of touched on Chinese characters that are used in Japanese, and it was just silly, and it kind of tied into my love of these characters, and but I didn't need to get the approval of any clients. I didn't need to have anyone sign off on the script. So like I said, it was just a very liberating experience.
Yes.
And I really didn't know what kind of response I'd get, but it's been very positive.
Yeah.
It's lovely, isn't it? That's the great thing. Like when you sort of make something and you kind of want to share it with people, and it is scary, isn't it? Because you never quite know. And but sometimes I think that's a bit of the thrill of creativity as well, isn't it? It's kind of being in that sort of vulnerable place and sort of like putting something out there, and then I kind of think maybe it's a bit like skydiving. Like I will never in my life do skydiving. I will never do it because it terrifies. The idea of it terrifies me. I'm terrified of being on an aeroplane. But for some people, the idea of making something and putting it on maybe a platform is an absolute nightmare, and they'd be like, I'm never doing that. But the same people might go skydiving, and I think it's a similar thing. I think maybe for creative people, it's almost an enjoyable kind of fear, and it's an enjoyable kind of like yes, exactly. So skydiving is for some people, and creativity is maybe for others. So that's how
sometimes I think it might be a compulsion, because sometimes I'll get an idea and it's like, meh, and then it just keeps coming back and coming back, and I can't get rid of it. And it's like, okay, I'm going to have to do something with this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's true.
I did actually do a skydive once, but
did you?
But as a pilot, as somebody who used to fly planes, I could never see the point in jumping out of a perfectly good area.
Oh. Fair point. That's a fair point. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, not my idea of. I don't even like being on an aeroplane. That terrifies me. It's the flight to Tokyo is just 12 hours of pure stress, and I keep asking the stewardesses for a drink, and they think I'm crazy. Yeah, we've had a couple of banners running across the page here, or on the page, and I feel before we finish up, I must not forget to have Anthony's banner, which I made here.
Thank you.
Yeah. So keep on doing your work, Anthony. Yeah, it's great. This kind of intercultural communication and intercultural messaging, intercultural marketing I love that topic. So that's been great to talk to you about on previous episodes. And then I must go to John's banner that I made, and I have not yet shown it. Where are you? Okay, here we go. Yeah, there we go. If you love literature, check out talesfromabsurdia.com. This is John's passion project. So he's a very, very, very busy guy, because he has this blog where you review books. You do all sorts. You interview writers. I mean, the amount of hours that goes into this must be a lot. You've got a 1-year-old child, so you are a busy guy, and yet you do it all.
I thought I was busy until Ria gave her a intro, and then I was like, okay, no, that's busy.
Writing her. Yeah. So yes, the final pitch then. Before we finish up today, we're up at 58 minutes. So Ria, maybe you could finish with a pitch for your book, so that we all are ready to go out and buy that.
Wow.
No, you don't have to. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Just like that. Okay.
No, you don't have to. But just reminders for anyone that's joined halfway through the show. Reminders about your book.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity. This book is basically about how to be polite without alienating your friends in English. So wow. I'm collecting all the phrases that you would want to use, but there are times that maybe it's not a good idea, the best idea to use that phrase in this kind of occasions. But I think there are quite a few people in Japan who don't have where to start, don't know where to start or when to use certain phrases or not. Like just please might be enough. A lot of people think that, but a lot of times that please isn't enough, or sometimes you can be rude with please. I had to learn the hard way. So,
yeah.
So you're paving the way for politeness for people.
When did you start writing this book? When did you start?
Oh, you asked that question? Do you
want to answer? I asked the wrong question here. You don't have to lie.
That's fine. It was last year. I was supposed to submit it by the end of last year, but this year. Yes, definitely.
This is the year. This is the year. Absolutely. Good luck. Yes. We wish you all the best. And let us know, when it's out, and we can.
It's great to know. Actually, it's great to know that more than a few people. The Japanese nationals are like now kind of noticed or realize that we need to really up our game, or maybe up your game is not the word, like move on, transcend to the different level. of their communication from just no, or from that to some other more communicative level of with
absolutely
any language, even with their mother tongue. I think
it's sort of contextual and conversational nuance, really, isn't it? And understanding that and kind of navigating that probably quite tricky barrier,
even between English speakers, whatever language, even between people that speak the same language, it's complicated, isn't it? And it can be, it can be exhausting, can't it? So if you're talking between different languages and different cultures, that's, well, good for you for writing this book and, for helping people navigate this this area. And that's a big project, but I wish you all the best. We'll have
Thank
to
you very much.
And,
you'll be the first to be notified.
Yes, we shall announce it on the show. Yeah, that's great.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have come up to 1 hour and 2 minutes. So we are going to call it a day on our first ever live stream. Let's give ourselves a clap. Yay! We did it.
Well done, folks.
Yeah. Whew. I can go relax now. I can have like pleasant dreams again. But yeah, so before we go, I just want to say a really, really big thank you to all of you for taking part, not only on today, on our first ever live stream, but just in the previous episodes as well. Big shout out to Richard. Richard got on board with this before there was any kind of format or music or there was nothing. And Richard was like, let's give it a go. And so I really want to say thank you to Richard for jumping on board, and that sort of helped me. It was always easier after that because now you can show somebody this is what it is and do you want to take part? So I thank you for that. But all of you,
you're very welcome. It was my pleasure.
Yes, thank you. And the nicest thing about doing this podcast or video or YouTube channel, whatever it is that I have met the nicest people. Sometimes online it can be very sort of fleeting interactions, with posts, with comments. And this podcast has been such a wonderful way to sort of make new friends and learn new things and new perspectives. I'm sure we'll all come back together again at some point. But for now, I will leave you to your Sundays. Let's just see. Michael Williamson in the comment section has said, "Great job." Thank you, Michael.
Thank
That's
you,
very
Mike.
kind of you. Thanks for taking part today. In Japan, there's a traditional way of finishing a party, isn't there? If I remember from my old office parties back in Tokyo, isn't it something like "say not" and then everyone gives a big clap?
Yeah.
That's right, isn't it? That's how you finish a party. Do you want to do it, Rie? Because you're Japanese, you're qualified for this, and I'm not. But I just remember
I shouldn't have said it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job, Rie.
Yeah. So in Japan, there is a way to finish a party or a gathering. Rie is going to lead us through how to do this, and then when we've finished, the moment we finish, I will click the end broadcast button, and we will be gone. So here you go, Rie. You show us what to do.
では皆様ご一緒に一本締めで参りましょう。よー。
Okay, goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.